Now, what started off 8 years ago as an initiative to honor Nelson Mandela's birthday, now known as Nelson Mandela Day, has turned into a lifelong journey of giving and helping those in need. Over the years, the initiative has seen hundreds of blankets knitted for people from all walks of life. In the coming year, 67 blankets for Madiba will traverse small towns and townships in a bid to provide as many blankets as possible to people it previously could not reach. We speak now to the founder of the 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela, Carolyn Steyn. Carolyn, Merry Christmas and appreciate your time today.
Merry Christmas, Hugo. Merry Christmas to all at Newzroom Afrika and to all your viewers.
Well, let's talk about this initiative. 8 years ago, did you think it would get to where it is today?
Nope. I have to tell you, it's not 8 years, it's 9 years. Can you believe it? And you mentioned giving out hundreds of blankets. In actual fact, I can comfortably say that we've handed over 200,000 blankets to those in need over the past 9 years. It's been quite an extraordinary journey. You know, do you want to know how it started?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to hear that. I'd also like to know, certainly, about some of the milestones that you've achieved over the last 9 years.
Okay, just so you know, I am busy making my blanket for our local blankets is Lekker 2023, which I'll tell you about. So it started on my husband's birthday, which is December 19th. He's just turned 70. And Zelda, Madiba's assistant, was there. It was shortly after the passing of our beloved Nelson Mandela. And we were talking about what to do on Mandela Day, being July 18th. And she said, why don't you make 67 blankets for Mandela Day? And it was sort of no problem. It was light-hearted banter. And on Christmas Day, 9 years ago, on this very day, my sister arrived with a bag of wool and a crochet hook, reminding me of my pledge. And so I started crocheting 9 years ago, and I didn't know I'd be able to get 67 blankets in time for Mandela Day 2014. And so I didn't have 67 friends, poor me, so I put it onto Facebook. And my Facebook friends shared with their Facebook friends, and so it went. And it's amazing how a ball of wool, a crochet hook can explode into what many people are calling a movement for good, a movement for change in our world. So we've done some remarkable projects over the past 9 years. The first year we covered the grounds of the Union buildings in a sea of bright, beautiful color, blankets made with love, stitch by stitch. That's what sets us apart from, you know, other blanket charities. We make our blankets. Every blanket is individual. It's made with love. So at the feet of Nelson Mandela at the Union buildings, there was a sea of color that went on for miles and miles and miles. Extraordinary. We created, to kickstart the Mandela Centenary celebrations in 2018, we created a massive Mandela masterpiece covering 2 rugby fields at Zonde, the Maximum Correctional Center, with the help of inmates all around the country, thousands of nitwits for Madiba and our extraordinary ambassadors around South Africa and internationally. In India, they created hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blankets to create that image of Nelson Mandela, the beautiful face of Madiba. So just only from the sky and via satellite could you see. That's how big the project was, the blanket was. So every blanket was a pixel in that face of Mandela. And of course, around the country, with the help of Stutterford van lines, driving our blankets to and fro across the country, we were able to distribute thousands of blankets that year and every year. Other projects, you know, this year we partnered with Gift of the Givers and with Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières. At Steyn City School, we created our Rainbow Nation Blanket of Hope, paying tribute to all frontline workers who have dedicated their lives over the past years, you know, towards this horrible COVID virus. And so what do we do next year to make us bigger and better and just really shout from the rooftops this call to action, this Ubuntu in action? That is, why not create events around the country before the cold hits us. So, you know, we've got ambassadors around the country who have risen, who've bubbled to the top with their leadership, their talent, their creativity. And we've got amazing ambassadors who are now charged with putting on incredible displays of blankets made with love, sourcing local talent from local schools. Every event starts with our national anthem. And so during the month of May, round about May, I don't know the dates just yet, in Bloemfontein, in Gqeberha, Cape Town, Durban, all over, White River, we are going to do these wonderful, wonderful events, and we're labeling it Local Blankets is Lekker, L-E-K-K-A, or Local Blankets is Lekker.
Fantastic. Carolyn, if you'll allow me to come in there. Now, I'd imagine that one of the messages that is being sent out certainly is a message of love and warmth as you receive a blanket. But has that message shifted from 9 years ago when you started, firstly? And secondly, what is the potential of putting out other messages that educate and equip South African citizens or South Africans as you do this remarkable work?
Well, I went to Jeppe High School for Girls, and we learned how to crochet at Jeppe Girls. And over the years, it's, you know, when I walked back into those school grounds 9 years ago, 8 years ago, and introduced 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day to the girls at Jeppe Girls, it's become part of their DNA. And so many schools around the country are involved with 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. It used to be seen as a kind of old lady sport, but I have to tell you, crochet, knitting, has become the new yoga. It's a skill that so many people have learnt now, young people, and I think that it really helps people that, you know, there's a real calming effect to crochet and knitting. And I think in terms of issues that we may have with mental health, certainly in rehabilitation facilities, crochet, 67 blankets, has been introduced into rehabilitation facilities. We've got the Johannesburg Society for the Blind making blankets for people. We've got people in prisons around the country, mostly men, I might add, who have made blankets for those on the outside whose lives have been affected by crime and poverty, giving inmates the opportunity to sort of give back to a society that they have wronged. So I'm very, very proud of 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. It's not what I intended. I did not intend going back to schools all around the country, to informal settlements, to rural areas, stepping foot into prisons around the country. So my life has changed. And I have to tell you that when Zelda suggested making 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, I didn't realize at the time what an incredible gift it was that she gave me. So my life has changed. Many people's lives have changed. A lot of lonely people out there who have found a family in 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day.
Well, Carolyn, certainly appreciate your time on this Christmas Day, and thank you once again. Wish you a Merry Christmas. Carolyn Steyn is 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela, CEO and founder. Appreciate your time.